In the last lecture, we set up our basic appearance of the app. And in this lecture, I'm going to show you that how you can display some static dummy data into our UI table view. So once again, we're going to start with creating a folder because we want to keep everything organized. I'm going to go ahead and create a new folder, and I'm going to call it cells. This is where our custom cells will live. The only cell that we have right now is to display the news item. So I'm going to go ahead and add a new cell. And let's go ahead and do that. Whatever you want to call your cell, I'm going to go ahead and call it news headline table view cell. And then create a cell. Okay. So the cell will consist of a couple of different things, right? We are trying to display the title. We are also trying to display the description of the news. And we are also going to be displaying the image associated with that news. All right. Sometime you will have image, sometime you won't, but you will definitely have some sort of a title and the description. All right. So let's go ahead and start with importing UIKit. And now we will start with news headline table view cell and UI table view cell. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and create IV outlet. So IV outlet week var, and this is going to display the title. All right, and now you might be wondering that, hold on a second, why can't we just use the predefined cells that are part of the UI custom view cell? You kind of can, but you will see that when you are trying to implement the self-sizing cells, then the predefined cell or the default stock cells, they don't really work that nicely. So that's why we are trying to create our own cell, so we will have a lot of flexible room. So I'm going to go ahead and say IB outlet week var description label UI label, and then the final one will be the IB outlet. So I'm going to go ahead and create IB outlet, and I will call it headline image view, which will be of type UI image view. And that's pretty much it. That's all our cell will actually look like. Now let's go ahead and start displaying some information into the table view. All right. So I'm going to go into storyboard, and let's go ahead and go to our cell. I'm going to click on the cell, and I'm going to go ahead and see that what is the class associated with this cell. So first I need to change that. Right now it is UI table view cell, but I want it to point to the new cell that we just created. So I'm going to say news table view cell. All right. Currently this cell also does not have any title label, any image or description or anything. So let's go ahead and add those things. First of all, I'm going to go ahead and make the cell a little bit bigger so I can easily add those things. I'm going to go ahead and say 80. There we go. And now I can go ahead and drag and label. So I'm going to search for a label, and I can go ahead and drag it anywhere I want. So here it is. All right. I'm going to drag another label maybe. So here is another label. And this label will be responsible for displaying the description. So maybe this will be a little bit smaller. So I'm going to go ahead and click here, and going to see that in the attributes inspector, I'm going to set it to 14, a little bit smaller. I also want to display some sort of an image. All right. So let's go ahead and find an image view. I'm going to go ahead and select for image view, and simply going to drag and drop the image view over here. All right. Now we need to apply some sort of constraints so that these things can be displayed accordingly. All right. So what can we do? The first thing we can do is we can go ahead and select both of these and embed them in a stack view. Now, you don't really need a stack view in this example, but I think the stack view does make things a little bit more simpler. So I'm going to go ahead and select this one and this one. And you'll see at the bottom over here, this is the embed in option right over here. If I click here, you can see that I can embed in a stack view. So let's go ahead and embed in stack view. So now it's inside the stack view, as you can see in the document outline right over here. All right. I want the stack view to be pinning on the top, left, and on the bottom. So stack view is already selected. I can go over here and this one actually, and now I can pin on the top, pin on this, and pin on this, and I'm going to change this to 0. The checkbox for constraint to margin is set to checked, which is fine, meaning that it is still going to add a little bit of margin between the stack view and the content view, which is apparent. I'm going to go ahead and add those. There we go. We still have to figure out for our image view. So let's go ahead and give it some sort of a width and height. So I'm going to go ahead and over here, select width and height, and we'll give it maybe 50 is fine, and 50. Also, I want it to pin from the top and from the right. So let's go ahead and set this up to 0, and also set this up to 0. And constraint to margin, you can do that if you want, that's fine. And let's go ahead and add that. So you can see now the image is smaller, that's fine. Now what else can we do? Well, we have to create a relationship between our stack view and the image view. There is no spacing between them. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to press a control key, and from stack view I will go to the image view and I will say horizontal spacing. Now you can see the horizontal spacing is set up over here, but I don't want that much of a horizontal spacing. So let's go ahead and find this. This is the leading spacing and it's set up to 251. I'm going to set it to 0. There we go. Other things that we can set, let's see what this is complaining about. This is just content priority and all that, so we can click on that and change priority. Content priority basically means that when it is time to stretch, who will be the one who is stretching, all right? So what I have done is I have, let's actually see, given, not this one. Okay, so this one has a vertical content hugging priority to 250. So this one has a more priority, so this will be the one that will be stretching. The one last thing that you need to do is to select both of them. First of all, the title one, and make sure the number of lines is 0. And we'll select this one also, the description label, and we will make sure the number of lines are 0. All right? That's pretty much it. Hopefully that will work, and hopefully that will display us a self-sizing cells. In the next lecture, I'm going to create some dummy data so that we can display all of that dummy data into our application and see that how our cells, how our display will look like when we will have actual data later on. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's create some dummy data and try to display the dummy data into the table view and see that how it looks like.